Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have the founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. All right. Hello, everybody. Let's go ahead and open up that waiting room and welcome people into our live Daily with Doc and Becca show. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to join us live and you're watching the live stream out on any of the different platforms that we're on, which we love that you're there, so let us know that you're there. And if you are watching a replay, we also want to know if it's a replay and where you are watching at or from. But you're always welcome to join us live on Daily with Doc and Becca, Monday through Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific time. So we are getting started. And folks, if you're looking for options because other options have not quite gotten you where you want to be, you're in the right place. And today I'm super excited as we are going to be talking about sleep, hormones, and other things that will lead to disruption of sleep. Now, we are a resource for an amazing community. So if somebody specifically recommended that you watch this program or any of our programs, they are your first point of contact. Make sure that you get back with them. Tell them thank you for sharing this information with you. And folks, don't forget, you are an empowered individual. We are giving more information for you to put into your toolbox so that you can make wiser choices on what is going to be best to help you on your health journey. Whether that journey is a journey that is looking kind of dim and bleak, or you just want to maintain a bright future, we are here for you. Now, my name is Becca Dukes, and as the Director of Student Services for the Institute of Holistic Health, I am also the leader behind the Daily with Doc program, which was started by a doctor who is kind of the crusade general. So as I may be a captain or a leader, he is still the general, and that is Dr. Joel Wallach. So we are excited to be able to share his crusade with the world and other products that the longevity leadership has found to be beneficial to our health. And today, like every other day, we're going to be bringing more information about products that are going to benefit or have the ability to benefit you in many areas of health. Our guest today, Adriene Gold, she is dedicated as a health advocate. She's also known for her commitment to promoting better health through her work with longevity and her ProJoba line. As a passionate proponent of holistic well-being, Adriene leverages her extensive knowledge and experience to help individuals achieve optimal health. That's what we're all about, folks. So her ProJoba line, a series of health products, is designed to enhance wellness and vitality. Through her affiliation with longevity, Adriene continues to inspire, educate people on the importance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle, emphasizing the benefits of natural and scientifically backed health solutions. So folks, as we're getting the 90 essential nutrients into our body, there are other things that help to create and enhance even more wellness within us. And Adrienne is here to share with us about some, well, sleep. And Adrienne, what else? So we've got hormones, which can affect our sleep, plus many, many other things. Share with us a little bit of what you put together that you want to share about hormones, sleep, and what we can do about both, or to support both.
The body is so, thank you, Becca. The body is so complex and beautiful and smart, but we got to feed it the right things at the right times of day and in the right times of our life. And sleep issues are a big problem for so many people, and there's many causes. A perfect example of what happened to me personally was right smack in the middle of going through menopause, which, by the way, Profemme was awesome for that. Terrific. Such a body balancer. I'll discuss it in a minute. I went to a holistic hormone balancing, like looking at doing bioidenticals or even more natural than that. And they said, you're not sleeping, you're in the middle of menopause. We're assuming that it's hormones, and let's take Profemme, let's take bioidenticals. And you know what? The Profemme was amazing for hot flashes, but it didn't seem to help me with my sleep. Now, it does help people with sleep, but it didn't help me because my issue turned out was my gut. My gut wasn't recycling my estrogen and progesterone, and we chased that down the wrong road for many, many months until I did a gut cleanse, and all of a sudden I could sleep again. So people assume sleep is stress, too much caffeine at night, their hormones, the room's too hot. There's a million different reasons why you're not going to sleep. Hormones is one of them. And if you go down a route where you're going to take something like the Profemme, which is an organic flower pollen blend that is beautiful for not adding anything in, but taking what you have in your body and balancing it. Women through the ages are supposed to go through not a lot of estrogen, then more, and then a ton when you're pregnant, and then lower down. That's normal. Profemme will support that bell curve of hormones and help alleviate some of the symptoms that you get, including one of them would be sleep. Now, a lot of other people have sleep issues besides going through menopause. So we're going to talk about different types of people, different types of situations. But the one I'm going to talk about right now is how hormones are affecting the sleep. And yes, the Profemme is fantastic as long as you don't have a gut issue or something else going on, because your gut is what manufactures your chemicals, your brain chemicals, your hormones. And if your gut is off, it can't do the right recirculating of what it needs to do. So that said, we do work on our gut for everything. The gut comes up for everything. So
now this is men and women both, right?
Men and women both. And
okay.
Profemme has a complementary product called Prostat. Both of these products are fat-soluble pollen, organic, hypoallergenic, and one ingredient only. So many people have so many sensitivities and allergies on so many medications that it's such a godsend to have a product that has one thing in it. So if you are sensitive to it, you'll know it's that one thing. So many women's and men's hormonal products contain a boatload of ingredients, and you don't know what's working, what's not working, or what might be affecting other of your supplements or medications. So it's such a gift to know that you can add in the Profemme and the Prostat for sleep and hormone balancing. Men and women both have sleep issues when they go through menopause. That's why women take a lot of progesterone at night. If their gut is working properly, the progesterone will help them because those swings in hormones affect sleep. Profemme will help with that. For a guy, his testosterone levels are swinging up and down, and his testosterone is turning into a more toxic form of testosterone called dihydroxytestosterone. And when that accumulates in your body, it causes male pattern baldness, prostate issues, and the prostate issues cause sleep issues. So that's why men get up in the middle of the night to have to go to the bathroom 3 or 4 times a night. And then sometimes they can't fall back asleep. Prostat is a godsend for that, because Prostat will help the body fight off that nasty version of testosterone so it doesn't aggravate the prostate, and the prostate won't swell. And when the prostate swells, then it presses on your bladder and the whole thing happens. You have to go to the bathroom 3 or 4 times a night. So for men, I recommend to start right away with 4 Prostat a day. Start with a higher dose. You could even go higher than that. If you know someone who has prostate issues, high PSA numbers, they're getting up to go to the bathroom multiple times a night, which is not great for their health, because you're sleeping and you're really healing. And we all know that. You can start with 6. The Prostat and the Profemme, since they're fat soluble pollen, those are the kind of things you can take more of at the beginning and load up, and then you can taper down on your dose. Many women and men take 2 to 4 pills a day every day, and they feel fantastic. For men, the Prostat won't interfere with any of their other medications. It doesn't have any side effects. Your body will tell you how much you need. So if you're taking 4 a day or 2 in the morning, 2 at night, and you still have those 2 trips to the bathroom, but you'd like to kind of lessen that, try an extra 1 or 2 Prostat. Do that for a week or 2 and see if that helps. If you are doing 4 and feeling great, you can do 3. And if you're feeling great, you can do 2 a day. And all of a sudden, if you start getting up in the middle of the night on 2, then you know your body's telling you go up to 3. That is how the pollen extracts work. They speak to you, and your body will know the dosage. So it can't hurt you. You can't overdose on these pills. They're super safe. Again, 1 ingredient. So when people tell you, well, I'm on this medication, that medication, I'm sensitive to this, sensitive to that, it's such a gift for you to have this in your arsenal. So Prostat for men, it'll help with hair growth. It'll help with prostate issues, both. And it's amazing, really. And men will have more energy during the day because they're sleeping better at night. And the pollen has, I know I sent it over to the gals last week, but what's in 1 grain of pollen is pretty astounding. There is a list of what's in pollen. There are thousands of micronutrients in 1 tiny little grain of pollen. And when the founder of this company, Dr. Joel Wallach, created this whole company around the fact that we need minerals, we have soil depletion, our food is dying on the inside, and then when we eat it, we're not getting nutrition. That is the same principle that we use with the pollen. Pollen is really nature's perfect food. And we don't use a bee to get this product line. So just a heads up for all of you out there who are saying, oh, I'm just going to go into my cabinet, grab my bee pollen, and take that. Not the same. The biggest problem with bee pollen is, although we love them, it's the bee. The bee can go directly onto a flower that's just been sprayed with pesticides, or pick up mold or bacteria from other areas. So it's not a very clean product when the bee gets through with it, right? What this company, this nutraceutical company in Sweden does is, it is a patented trade secret method of extracting the pollen directly from the flower. No bee is needed, and removing the allergic part, which the bee usually does kind of an okay job of. When it has enzymes in its little cheeks and it sucks out the pollen, it can partially dissolve that allergic husk around, but not all the way, which is why bee pollen can be a highly allergic product. We don't want that. We just want that pure nutrition source, right? No beef fragments, no this, no that. And that's what longevity has, is pure, organic, nature's perfect food that comes right out of the pollen, right into your bottle, pretty much. Why do we need it? Well, when was the last time you had a real meal that you weren't concerned about was partially fake, artificial, or genetically modified? You know, all of it, right? So when people run around and just go crazy over this pollen line, the product that's the claim to fame, which is Pollen Burst, and people are wondering, why do they feel so good on that? And why do they absolutely are addicted to it? And why do they need it every day? It's because it just fed you a meal, probably the best meal you've had in 10 years for your body and your brain. And that's why you're hooked on it. And that's why you feel so good everywhere. And that's why everybody gets a little different gift when they drink the pollen burst or take any of our pollen supplements, because it fills in the missing gaps, the holes, the deficiencies that are deep in your body that you don't even have to know. You don't have to know, take the millions of tests. What am I nutrition? What am I deficient in? What you can, the pollen fills right in. So that's a little bit of a overview on the pollen and where it comes from. And that's what we use to make the hormone products, Profemme and Prostat. Did you have a question?
Can I do a quick little show, kind of a wow?
Sure.
Because I have that document that I can put up here real quick. And
The best thing to do is show people that document and have them sip on a pollen burst at the same time. Because when you see that list, you're going to look and go, oh my God, there are so many things on that list. This drink must taste terrible.
okay, can everybody see that?
I can see it.
I mean,
And
that,
by the way, that's only a partial list. That's just the list that we came up with to keep it on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper back in the day when people were still putting things on papers and flyers, right? So we didn't want to overload people, but if you see that vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids, carotenoids, flavonoids, your phytosterols, all of your enzymes even. So the pollen products that you're taking in your body right now have the enzymes built right into them. So there's thousands of nutrients that we couldn't fit them all on the page. And you may say to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm drinking this really good tasting pollen burst. How in the heck could you get all of that in such a good tasting drink? It's because it's micronutrition and it's all balanced as pure food. This is what you get when it's a whole food. Sometimes when you eat like an apple or some broccoli or some muscadine grapes, you might find some of this in there. But since pollen creates all plant life, it's kind of have to have all of that stuff in there. So it can bring that energy of all of these nutrients to the world. And then it differentiates into different plants and species. But how amazing is it that, I mean, this is the biggest multivitamin you're ever going to see in your life. This is why people feel so good on the pollen products. Not only the pollen burst drink, but the tabs, the liver tabs, they all have the pollen in them. And this is what we need. But this is not what we're getting in our standard American diet or even in other countries. So it's pretty eye-opening. And a lot of times it's very eye-opening when someone drinks a pollen burst and asks you the question, what's in this? And this is what you can show them, and they'll just go, oh my God, how can I even be? So it's just a miracle that we have this. It's nature's gift to us, and we all should be drinking it every day, the pollen burst drink. And by the way, for sleep and for hormones, having one pollen burst a day in the morning is wonderful. If you have trouble sleeping, take it in the morning. There is a tiny bit of green tea. So if you're super sensitive, you should just drink it in the morning and you'll be done. If you have to drink half of one a day, you can try that too. But most people, like myself, who are caffeine sensitive, I can drink this drink, which has maybe 60 milligrams of caffeine just from the green tea. That's all it's coming from. It doesn't affect sleep for me and for many other people. And it really, let me tell you, if you get 3 or 4 hours a night of sleep and you drink your burst in the morning, you will forget you had 3 or 4 hours a night of sleep. Because at my age, and if I get 3, and I've had that happen in the last couple of weeks, I was overthinking about something, a lot of things hitting me, and I woke up at like 3 or 4 in the morning and I couldn't fall back to sleep. But let me tell you, the day goes normally. You don't drag if you're drinking the burst. I think Becca's going to say the same thing, and everyone who's, yeah. So it kind of saves your day, and it's not because this is stimulant. This is not what you want. You don't want to have 3 or 4 hours of sleep and then load up on coffee. That will really dysregulate. But the pollen burst is very healing. It's not the green tea that's keeping you going all day. It's the list that Becca just put on the screen. That's what's keeping you going. So you're not overdoing your adrenals by losing sleep. So in addition to the Profemme and the Prostat, again, Prostat's going to help with the getting up trips to the bathroom. That'll help you sleep. The Profemme can help with the hormonal swings and hot flashes and night sweats that keep you up. The pollen burst drink, the actual drink in the morning, will help you survive the daytime version when you're still trying to heal the nighttime version of your sleep issue. Another thing you need to think about, maybe you know, maybe you don't, is keep the temperature in your bedroom cooler. And that helps. Another thing, especially for women, and this could be applied for men too, is make sure that before you go to bed, you take your Profemme and your Prostat, but also limit your screen time. Don't eat a lot of sugar, caffeine, chocolate before bed, but also make sure you're hydrated. Dehydration can cause sleep issues. Make sure you're hydrated. What happens to women going through menopause is they're having so many hot flashes and night sweats that they're constantly in a state of dehydration. That is part of what's causing the sleep trouble. Sleep is tricky. A lot of things have to be lined up perfectly well for you to have a good night's sleep. And most of the time, your body does it all on its own. But if you're having a lot of stress, or you're having too much caffeine later in the day, or your room's too warm, or you're dehydrated, all of these can play a factor. Now, one other thing, if you're having sleep trouble, have a handful of nuts, almonds or walnuts, preferably before bed. Your almonds have your omegas, your walnut, your almonds have your precursor to melatonin in them. It's not melatonin, but it helps your body manage and uses melatonin better. And the walnuts are your omegas, and both of them are fat and protein. So sometimes people will wake up in the middle of the night because they didn't eat enough during the day. They didn't have enough protein or good fats. And they'll wake up and they can't get back to sleep. You can go in your fridge and have a slice of turkey for the tryptophan, but also have, before you go to bed, a handful of nuts, because the fat and the protein will help with blood sugar swings in the middle of the night that could cause your adrenaline to rise a little bit and wake you up. Okay, so that's been helpful for me and for many, many people, and it's healthy for you to make sure you have a little bit of protein, a little bit of fat, good fats, not the bad fats, not the Oreo cookie. And on the notion of fat, my favorite fat, jojoba omega. This is also great for hormones and great for sleep because it's calming to the brain, it's calming to the lungs, the body. Some people can't sleep well because they don't breathe well. Like I said, there's a million reasons you're not sleeping, okay? Make sure you check all your boxes. Make sure you're taking your omegas. I take 6 a day, 2 in the morning, 2 at breakfast, 2 at dinner. Fish oils are great with fat. Since they're fat, take them with a meal. They will not repeat on you. You won't have those like fishy burps later. Some of your clients will tell you they don't want to take fish oils because of the repeat or it doesn't digest well. Have them try this particular brand. So many of our customers have come to us taking other brands, whether it's Costco or anywhere, you know, and whatever it is, it didn't settle well with them. And this one's for some reason is it just digests really, really simply. It's very inexpensive. It's like $20 for a whole month's supply. So don't skip on this. It's great for your hormones, your skin health, your hair health, joint health. And another reason people can't sleep, their joints hurt. Take your omegas for your joints. And after you finish your pollen burst drink in the morning, and you could take these nice little pollen tabs in the afternoon and in the evening for mental focus. So it's not going to be as big of a lift energy-wise as the pollen burst drink. It's more of a calm, quiet energy, and it's anti-inflammatory. So it's good for your joints as well. It's good for any inflammation, back pain. So anything that's going to hurt you and make you wake up in the middle of the night, this could help with that as well. It's super anti-inflammatory. So as we're talking about sleep, it really does help with everything. The pollen, the ProJoba pollen line, men's hormones, women's hormones, taking your omegas. What's another thing that causes sleep trouble? This is a big one. Toxins. What does your body do in the middle of the night? All the house cleaners come out. You see those high-rise buildings where the house cleaners come in at like 2 a.m. and they clean your office, right? Well, that's what's happening in your body at 2 a.m. And if there's a lot of stuff to do, it could wake you and make it hard to fall asleep. So what do we do about that? We take Pollen Burst liver tabs, and that is pollen plus glutathione and a little bit of aloe. And not only will it help your liver work faster and cleaner during the day to bring down that backlog so that your nighttime crew comes in to not such a dirty mess. Okay, so then it won't wake you. Now, if you're having sleep trouble already, take your liver tabs 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. If you have no trouble sleeping, you can take 2 in the morning and 2 at dinner or 2 at bedtime, doesn't matter. With or without food is totally fine. So don't try to, you know, time it properly because then you'll end up not taking it at all. So it's fine with or without food.
Okay, so what's the biggest differences between the liver formula and the pollen burst tabs?
The glutathione.
The glutathione? Okay.
That's it. And the aloe.
And the aloe.
Because the tabs are basically just like the pollen burst drink without the caffeine, without the green tea. So it's the gentler, calmer afternoon version of the burst. But the liver tabs is basically like the pollen tabs, but added glutathione.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's one more add. There's nothing like this in the world. There is no product that has SOD, which I haven't even talked about yet, glutathione, aloe, and pollen all in one place.
So if I'm taking them both together, is that okay?
Yes. You're just getting a little more pollen. They're not interfering with each other. That's a really good question, Becca. Because of the nature of the pollen, and you're the one who posted that ingredient list. All these products are made from the same base. They're all synergistic. You can all mix and match them however you want. If you just took 2 liver tabs because you had maybe like a mimosa Sunday morning with breakfast and you want to really work on that, but your joints are hurting and you want to take the pollen tabs too, you could take them all together.
Okay, good to know. And you had mentioned the fish oils and having that nasty taste in the burp and everything.
Yeah.
And I used to buy the Costco version.
Okay.
And it was horrible. I mean, they gave me heartburn.
Yeah.
I can take the omega with no heartburn, no problems whatsoever. And Dr. Wallach even says that, you know, those essential fatty acids, and pharmacist Ben does as well, they're important for regulating hormones as well.
Yeah, that is true.
in
That is
addition to
absolutely,
eating cholesterol. So
yeah,
definitely something not to overlook, folks.
no,
In
definitely. There's a lot of goodness in those oils. And what I like to do with my regimen is drink a pollen burst in the morning and take a couple of liver tabs and a couple of probacillus. And then in the afternoon, I take a couple of pollen tabs. And in the evening, I'll do the 2 liver tabs and 2 of the probacillus. And I don't really need to dip into the pollen tabs that often. I don't have really any joint pain or exhaustion in the afternoon, even if I get 3 or 4 hours of sleep on certain days where there's a lot going on. So I don't feel a lot different than I felt when I was 40, like health-wise. I don't think about it a lot because I just,
people are going to say you're older than 40.
yeah, I'm 60. So yeah, there you go. So, but the thing is, because I've been on these pollen products for almost 30 years, it's just, I don't know a difference because this is what I do. This is how I feel. However, that said, people should not be afraid to say, oh, well, I'll never catch up with 30 years, so I just give up. No, you will feel that pollen burst in an instant. It will start changing your health in an instant. You don't need 30 years on these products. You need a week and your whole life is going to change, right? So there's never a bad time to start. And every day we live on this planet becomes more and more polluted. So every day becomes a more important day to detox. And detoxifying your body, like what happened with me when I couldn't sleep, and it was my gut, because who thought, even my holistic hormone doctor missed that, right? Then this was like 4 or 5 years ago. Nowadays, I think so many people are discussing the gut microbiome that maybe it won't get lost in the talk, but always treat your gut. Always. It's like a master house there that's doing a lot of things for you. And if you can keep, and it's harder now because of the pollution. And so when you're
Mhm.
always treating your gut, you're always also treating your liver. Poor little liver every day is getting hit. So
Right.
when your gut is healthy and your skin is healthy, you're getting enough sleep, your body knows what to do. It just needs basics: sleep, air, water, good food, right? It sounds
Right.
easy, right?
It sounds
um,
easy. It actually is easy, but it takes commitment to yourself.
and it's not hard. And I always encourage people who are new to this, keep these products on your counter. There's so many times where I'll sit down with a girlfriend and I'll give her a few packets of Pollen Burst, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." She drinks it right in front of me, has a great day, leaves the box in her car for a month, or puts it in the
Mm.
cabinet and forgets it's there. So until it becomes a habit, it's not going to be it. So keep these on your counter. Keep the Profemme or Prostat on your bathroom sink before you go to bed, right? I have a vitamin carousel in my pantry, and sometimes people will come over and go, it looks like you have supplements in there, then you have food. Ha ha. And then what I have to remind them is, well, half of the supplements are food, right? And the other food, the canned goods that I keep for like a rainy day, that's not such great food. So keep it on the counter, keep it with you, because you got to get into the habit first, and then you won't even think about it. You'll drink your pollen burst like you shower or brush your teeth. That's just that simple.
Well, and I have like my pollen burst, which, folks, if you haven't tried the pollen burst, you get to choose your flavor. Okay. You've got the orange, you've got mountain berry, you got strawberry acai, you have dragon fruit now. Did I miss one? I
I
feel like
think
I may
that's,
have missed one,
yeah, you got it.
but they're all amazing tasting, and they're easy. They mix easily in water. I'm doing the strawberry acai today in my cup. I just open it up, pour my water in, and I don't even have to stir it, Adrienne, because it dissolves so easily,
That's another
which I
thing that, yes, that is another thing that a lot of things you might have done in the past, they just get to the bottom and they get chunky, or they don't taste good, there's an aftertaste. None of that's going to happen with the pollen. Longevity's done a beautiful job getting those flavors just perfect. Gosh, wonder if maybe soon they might come out with a variety pack. Who knows? That would
would
be
be cool.
cool.
That would
But
be very cool.
the
And they
packets
are,
are important to share with
yeah,
people and make sure not only to share, but to make sure your friend, your loved one, your customer actually opens the packet and spills it into water and drinks it right away. Because people won't, we're all getting sampled to death.
mm,
And this is just another, I mean, they're pretty packets, but it's just another packet in your life. There's so many packets out there. So it's really important if you want to do a favor for someone, if you want to change their life, you need to rip open their packet and spill it into water and hand it to them. That will change their life. Getting them 4 or 5 packets of burst and they disappear at the bottom of their car or in the back of their
first,
briefcase for 6 months is not helping them. And it's so disappointing because I've had that happen to me back in the day when I used to do that. I used to give away all these free packets and like wait for them to tell me how much they love it. They don't get into the habit of drinking it. They forget. You know, one woman gave 1 package to her husband, left 2 in her car, gave 1 to a neighbor, and then drank 1, and then couldn't really figure out if they were working. Well, duh. You only had 1. Your husband forgot to drink 1. There's 3 under your car seat. It doesn't work that way. This is really important nutrition. It is not okay to have it sitting on a counter. It needs to be in your body. So for all of you out there who've experienced that amazing feeling you feel when you drink this every day, and the feeling of just feeling really good and not thinking about it. That's the thing.
yeah.
You don't think about it, you just feel good. And if you don't have it for a few days, then you know, right? So we want you all to feel really good and not have to stress about it or take handfuls of pills and supplements. Sometimes the best thing is that comes from nature without messing with it. And these pollen extracts, this entire pollen line literally comes out of the flower into your bottle, and we're not messing with it. So we need a lot more of that. And that will help your body do its job so it can balance during the day and it can balance and sleep at night.
Well, and I drank over the weekend, had tournament weekend, so softball tournaments, and my son, he had baseball tournament in another state, so he had pollen burst and also rebound with him. My granddaughter had it, and of course Nana was the one that was making that drink for her, and it's a feel good drink, folks. So if for nothing else to boost your mood to feel good, you're worth it. It's worth it. And making sure that your body is getting the nutrition that it needs is going to help you be able to function mentally and physically.
And one more note to people who, and you know, 25 years ago, I didn't have to say this, but I'm going to say it now. We are all overloaded with vitamins everywhere and people selling stuff all over the place. It's overwhelming. And some people who are not in the nutrition business or don't really have degrees and understand how the body works and how it's feeling, it can be overloading. And after a while, you just don't trust people or trust supplements. And that is normal. And it's okay to feel that way. But here's the note. The ProJoba pollen line, like I mentioned at the beginning of the call, will speak to you. And it should. Don't take supplements if you don't feel them. You need to let your body tell you. You need to listen. And if you're not feeling something after a couple weeks, adjust the dosage, talk to your rep, do some investigation. Like I said, go up or down on your dosage, take a different time of day, but you need to make sure your supplements are working for you. Don't just blindly take stuff because your girlfriend told you that she loved it, or you read something on a post somewhere that it's supposed to be good for you. Your body is going to tell you what's good for you. And an example of that is some people have to drink 2 pollen bursts a day to get through their day, and it's perfect for them. And that's great. And some people will say, well, you know, how do I know when I can go back to 1? And it's very simple. When you don't reach for the second serving because you're tired and you just go through your day, all day long, running around, feeling great, and you don't think about needing more, that's how you know. So some of you who are new, some of you who are with longevity are coming from all over the country or all over the world, you should really put those pills you're taking to the test, your vitamin pills, your supplement pills, put them to the test, try them, and make sure that you feel something. Make sure that you feel better. And I think it will give you a sense of calm and peace, knowing that you are in the driver's seat. You will know how much to take and how little to take and how much you're feeling. And so it won't be so confusing for you. This product line is great for so many for that reason, that it's easy for them to identify how it's working.
Absolutely. I mean, we invite you to feel the difference, folks. Feel the difference.
And we do
So
have time for questions if you have.
we have, I was just going to say, we do have some questions for you. And the first one is coming from Miriam, and she says, can you tell us what effect of Profemme is on estrogen during premenopausal changes, particularly in periods that have become very heavy?
Okay, that's a great question. We have worked with people with Profemme when they're just starting out with their periods, for young girls who are having really irregular, painful, very heavy periods. Same thing on the other end of the spectrum. We have seen so many customers. I remember one woman years ago, and we were using the same formula all the time. She was having periods twice a month, super heavy. She got so anemic, so tired, and she was having her menstrual period for like a week and a half, twice a month, heavy. So within the first, if I can remember, within the first cycle, the first 2 to 4 weeks she took the Profemme, it really just calmed down right away. So it maybe it took the full month, but it really helped. And I think she was taking between 4 and 6 a day. So
Okay.
I would start with this situation maybe at 4 to 6, maybe take 4 the first day, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. And then as you feel like things are, that you're feeling good with it, then go to that 6, maybe on day 3, and do 2, 2, and 2. And give it a couple of months to see that change happen. Now, also, if that's an issue, you also want to check in with your doctor to make sure something else isn't happening. But if your doctors are telling you that this is just menopausal and that it's normal for her body to do that, then I think the Profemme would be very helpful.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And Harry has the next question. He says, what is the best way to promote health with sleep apnea? So we're looking at an 80-year-old male, 125 pounds. Would the pollen burst line be beneficial with the sleep apnea?
Sleep apnea usually happens in heavier people. He's not heavy. Then it's a structural issue, a sinus issue, a tongue issue. He could have a weak tongue that's dropping to the back of his mouth and covering him, not letting the air go through. Anti-inflammatory type products are always helpful. So I would say pollen tabs, pollen burst would always be helpful for him. Fish oils. However, he should get tested for myofunctional issues, because it's called orofacial myofunctional disorder. It can happen throughout your life, and it usually happens at birth, but sometimes goes unnoticed. If his tongue, as he's aging, is getting weak, and he can't keep his tongue to the roof of his mouth, and it falls down, that's the noise you're hearing for snoring, and that's one of the signs of that could get serious and block your airway. So I know a lot of people slap on the machine, right? But he should check into myofunctional disorders and see if there's something that we can do. If it is his weak tongue, what they can do to help him. Could be with neck muscles, could be the way he's sleeping, it could be sinus issues. He might need the nasal strips. There's a lot of reasons why that could happen. In the old days, they just slapped on a sleep apnea machine, but now there's more practitioners that are looking into the myofunctional issues.
All right, thank you so much for that. And as we were setting up, there was a question that was posed to you, wanting to know if your full head of hair has anything to do with the Pollen Burst line. And you had mentioned something about genetics and epigenetics, which
Yeah.
for those of you who have been watching our show, Dr. Wallach, who is the founding father of our crusade, is one of the founding fathers of the science of epigenetics. And epigenetics, he even wrote a book about it. So we have epigenetics, which is the death of the genetic theory of disease transmission. You can get his books by calling 800-755 4565. Did I get it right? Or drjwallach.com. So again, epigenetics, you want to get that book. This book was like my second book of hope, because of the things that I was told were genetic, I learned are not. And because of what I started putting in my body, leaving other things out, I was able to overcome those things that my aunts and mother and grandmother were experiencing. And then eventually my mom did too. So I'm super excited about that. But let's talk about back to you. You had mentioned that
Yes.
that it
Okay,
might
so
have some.
my mom, my dad on both sides, my grandparents on all sides, they don't have hair. They're balding early, everything, going gray early. I didn't start going gray until 50. My sister was going gray at 35. My sister's had 12 skin cancers removed so far. I've had 0. So this is the true test of epigenetics. Your genes are a loaded gun. What you do with your life, how you handle your life and what you put in your body is like pulling the trigger or not. Okay. I can tell you 100% that my hair is coming out of this stuff. I mean, it is, because my genetics was not for this. Okay. Number 2, I should have had a bunch of skin cancers by now, and I don't use sunscreen. I stay out of the sun. Like, I don't sit there and tan, but I did when I was a kid. I, like my sister, put the baby oil on and fried myself in the backyard. And still, I'm doing fantastic with my skin. One of the reasons for that is the SOD antioxidant in the pollen burst and the tabs and the liver tabs, all of the products, is a natural UV protector. So when I get my hair colored, and I do once or twice a year, because that's how slow my gray comes in at 60, okay? My girlfriends go every 6 weeks. I go every 6 to 8 months. That's the liver tabs and the pollen burst. It slows the aging of your body. We know this. We know antioxidants are supposed to slow the aging of your body. And I am a perfect testament to that, because I should have been a lot more wrinkly. I should have had worse eyesight and quicker gray and less hair, and on diabetes and weight issues. All of that is in my genes, all of it. So I don't pay attention to it because I am not pulling the trigger. I have the genetic predisposition, but I'm not pulling the trigger by doing these supplements and trying to drink filtered water, clean air, exercise, the basics that we all know how to do. And we can all do that. Now, some things genetically are going to happen and there's nothing you can do about it, but you can still modify with your life to limit the symptoms or progression of something. So I can't say every single one of you out there is going to have this result, but most of you will be very surprised that you would have this result. So that is what epigenetics, that's what Dr. Wallach has talked about for decades, is don't be a victim to your genes. You don't have to.
No, and let me see if I can share this, because, while you're talking about it, I'm thinking back when I started taking Pollen Burst. Oh, it's not going to let me do it easily. But
I gotta say that I started taking the tabs right around the time that my daughter was 1 year old.
Mhm.
And that was 30 years ago. And we didn't have the drink. We just had the liver tabs and the pollen tabs and the probacillus and the Profemme, and that's all I took, right? I remember losing all of my baby fat. And when I had my second daughter, I gained like 15 pounds. And then the next day, my stomach was flat again, pretty much. So it changed me, because before the pollen, I was heavier. I was 5'8", maybe 140. And now I'm 5'8", 120. And I've been that way for ever since I've been on pollen. And I'm not trying to lose weight. My body just shifted. And I think it has something to do with the pollen. As we know, that piece of paper we showed up at the beginning of that slide with all those micronutrients, which is pure food. When I was pregnant, I was not hungry for two. I was not super hungry. I was eating for one, which is why I gained like 15 pounds. But I had like a 20-pound belly. I just got thinner everywhere else. But now that I'm looking back at that, it's quite possible the pollen was feeding me for two, because I was eating my food and taking the pollen. And that goes to show you that a lot of times when women are so hungry and eating, the food they are eating is empty calories, and their body and their baby are not getting enough nutrition. And so you're signaling, I need to eat more. And that's why a lot of women get heavy, because they're not able to access perfect, pure food sources anymore. And so you need 9 hamburgers instead of one lean, organic grass-fed piece of beef. And you need 20 stalks of broccoli and a bunch of liver tabs to get rid of the pesticides. But you know what I mean? So maybe that it was even happening way back then is, if you don't feel like you need to eat for two, that's probably because you're getting what you need.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Adrienne, for sharing. And I know with my hair, because not only do I take the Pollen Burst, which I absolutely love the Pollen Burst, I've been drinking it probably 6 of the 8, 9 years that I've been with Longevity, and taking the liver formula, because I had a liver issue. And I've added in the Pollen Burst Tabs. I did the Omega. I've added in the Profemme. I mean, there's so much that I have done to help myself, that my hair was very thin. And I remember telling people, it's like, well, why don't you try something different with your hair? I'm like, my hair has this natural way that you can't do anything with, but because it was limp. My hair was thin. There was a lot of it, but very thin and limp. And now I can do a lot with it.
Yeah.
I can do a lot, and I don't even have to try, which I absolutely love.
Oh, and by
We
the
do
way,
have
you don't,
yes.
I don't do anything besides using the ProJoba shampoo and conditioner. I leave my hair up in a bun all week, and I just take it out 2 minutes before we air. So not using a lot of hair gels and styling and hairspray and all that really does help. Your hair wants to be as clean as the inside of your body, right? So.
And I was going to mention that I do use, and it's the Longevity organic shampoo and conditioner. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is from, or includes the SOD in it. That's what I use. Over the weekend, I didn't take it with me. I used what was in the B&B. My hair did not respond as well. This morning I washed it and it perked back up.
There you go. Yeah, no, it's beautiful. People need to know, and it's not expensive. It's clean.
No.
All of these products are clean and simple, which is what your body really wants.
Yes,
So
it
is there
is.
any other questions? Did we miss anybody?
Yes. Yep, we have 2 hands that are up. We'll go to the first one that popped up here, as they both came up about the same time, but it is showing that AJ popped up first. So AJ.
Hi, AJ.
Hey, Adrienne. My quick question is, how many total doses of pollen are you taking in a day?
For me,
Between every product that you have, how many total doses of pollen are you getting a day?
I drink 1 burst a day. I take 6 fish oils a day. I take about 3 to 4 proboscis. I take 4 of the liver tabs, sometimes 6 if I go into a dental office treatment or someone's painting the house next door. I'll take 6 a day. Pollen tabs, I don't even take that many of them because I don't need that unless my, I bang my elbow or I'm really dragging on a certain day, but I don't run for those because my focus and attention has been really good. And I don't tend to drag at 3 o'clock, but a lot of people do. So that's my body telling me that I'm already not even needing as much of this. So that's kind of what I do. And maybe I'll take a couple of these a day if I remember. But my body isn't asking me for it as much.
So you're focused, you're definitely getting the liver tabs.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Liver tabs in 1 burst.
Yeah. And I am taking the Profemme again, just a couple of pills a day because they're really good for bladder health. And my bladder is great, but as we age, we want to keep that healthy too. So for women who want to work on maybe irritable bladder issues or UTIs or anything like that, it's a really great maintenance. So you don't have to just take these if you're feeling unwell. You can take them to stay feeling well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And again, some people might need 2 Pollen Bursts a day and 4 of these in the afternoon when they first start with us because they need to get balanced. And that's the beauty about the pollen lines. Over time, you won't need as much unless you get sick. And by the way, any cold or flu season coming up, which we can talk about next time, I have a whole arsenal of what you can do as we're heading into cold and flu season. That's sitting right here on my desk. So there's another benefit to some of these products here. So yeah.
Awesome. More great information. And let's go to Rod. Rod, what question do you have for Adrienne today? Oh, wait. Where'd you go?
I'm here.
Here. That's the button I want to choose.
All right. Hey, Adrienne, how you doing?
Hi, Rod.
I would like to know, like, for people that have high blood pressure with all this energy going on with pollen bursts, is it healthy for people with high blood pressure?
We have, although it's always important for your doctor to know what you're taking, we have seen that it doesn't seem to affect high blood pressure. If you're very sensitive to green tea and that's affecting your blood pressure, you can always switch to the pollen tabs. But I can tell you the biggest, I think it's a neutral to positive, but the biggest bang for your buck for blood pressure is your fish oils. And I know because when I went in for my first colonoscopy and they said, don't take anything for like a week before, and I tend to have like a low normal blood pressure, mine went up to like a normal-ish higher without those fish oils. So make sure that for high blood pressure, and then of course, always check with your doctor. If anyone's on medication for blood pressure, you always want to coordinate. But I have always found that the pollen itself and the fish oils help with a lower to normal blood pressure.
All right. Fantastic. Great question. Thank you so much. And do we have time for one more? Adrienne, do you have time for one more?
Yes.
All right. So Richard has a question. Richard, go ahead and unmute yourself. What question do you have for Adriene Gold today?
Hi, Adrienne. I met you briefly back in 2016 at the convention in Dallas. So hi again.
Hey.
But I wanted to thank you. I know you've been out the last year doing a lot of these meetings and stuff. So I just greatly thank you for being out and promoting your line. I appreciate that. But just briefly, I wanted, if you could just talk a little bit more about the Prostat and what benefits it would have.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. The origination of Prostat actually is very interesting. When we first got it into the country 30 years ago, it was being sold in China as a medication for BPH, benign prostate hyperplasia, which is enlarged prostate. It was now in China, in the FDA version in China, they approve natural medicines for the use of medical conditions. So it was a medication by prescription for many, many years. And we got it in the States, of course, as a natural remedy. But its action is the pollen that it uses, which is different than the pollen in the pollen burst. What it does is it acts like a baby plug. You know, when you're baby proofing your house and you put that plug in the wall so your baby doesn't stick their finger in the wall, it acts like that to your receptors of that bad form of testosterone. It kind of blocks it, and then you can excrete it without that bad version swelling up your prostate or making you lose your hair. Because the same process in a man's body where their prostate is swelling also affects male pattern baldness. So this is the most holistic, non-side effect way of doing this. There are medications out there. I don't know the names, and one of them used to be called Proscar, and I don't know if it's the same anymore. Some of these medications can be very highly toxic. Some of the hair preparations, like minoxidil, can be harsh because it's going on your hair, just like you're right near your brain. So you may want to be careful with that. So if you really want to go super holistic, the Prostat, and if you have male pattern baldness and prostate issues, or getting up in the middle of the night to go, or painful urination, or difficulty urinating day or night, I would right away start with 6 of those a day. They're non-toxic. They won't interfere with medication. They have no side effects. They're just a beautiful way for your body to protect you from these aging issues.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Great question, Richard. Thank you so much for popping on Daily with Doc and Becca. Adrienne, another great episode. We so appreciate you. And as we get the co-hosts up on the screen with us, I couldn't do this without them. It's like we're a community, we're a family, and you are part of our family. So we absolutely want to make sure that the ProJoba line stays within the family, as I've gone through so many different shampoos and I'm like, gee, that's not quite, maybe that's a little bit better. But this one I have been using for now 6 years.
Yeah, I've been using it for as long as we started manufacturing, over 10, 12 years. And it doesn't wear off, and it doesn't give you a buildup.
No.
So I remember going to my hairdresser one day years ago, and I switched once to another brand we had used to carry with longevity, but I don't think we carried anymore. It's a long, long time ago. And he looked at my hair and he goes, "What are you doing? What is on your hair?" And so he had to do like a stripping shampoo to get all that stuff off. But using the ProJoba shampoo or the longevity shampoo, it's automatically cleaning you, and it doesn't leave a buildup. So you don't have to go get clarifying shampoo later, you know?
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, today we have on with us Sherry. Sherry is part of our tech crew. She helps to get the stream set up so that we can stream to all the different locations that we have Daily with Doc airing on. So thank you so much, Sherry. We have Marilyn, who is doing transcription. So the things that are being vocalized are also being typed and put into the chat. And this is only available if you're live on the Zoom with us. We want to make sure that we protect the, we want to protect the people that are on with us. So as she's giving information and the recommendation that is being made, we don't want to have that out for the world to see, even though they can hear it. But she does put that in the chat. And if you're here live with us in the chat and you think, oh, was my question, you can take a screenshot of that and take it to your coach. Or if you are listening and it's like, oh, I could benefit from that, you can take a screenshot of it instead of trying to remember exactly what it was. So thank you, Marilyn. We also have Albert joining us from South Africa. And yes, the zebra in the background is in his backyard. That is a picture that he himself took. So thank you so much, Albert, as he's joining us late in the night, making sure that people get in to the Zoom room. So if they weren't able to get in, then they wouldn't be able to hear and see all the great information that's being shared. We have Rod, who's out watching the platforms, and I think he's letting people in as well. I just want to say thank you, Rod, as he's bringing in questions from the field as well. We have Ruth Ellen Sanchez, who is my executive production manager, who what you see out there on the different platforms with all the graphics, that's going through her, as I've taught her how to do those graphics and put that stream all together so that she can do that part. And I'm not trying to run the show and do the stream. That's the joy of having a team, folks. And we have AJ, who is responsible for helping us get out on all those different platforms. So, folks, if you want to be part of an amazing team and you're not working with somebody already, if you were not referred to this program by somebody, because that's your contact, they have their own team, and I'm sure is amazing as well. But we want to make sure that we keep the integrity of this program, because we are a resource to an amazing community of coaches and individuals who are health advocates, and even some health professionals that have found the validity in the research and the products in being a solution to today's health deficiencies, nutrient deficiencies. So once again, thank you so much, Adrienne, for joining us. We greatly appreciate you. And folks, if you're not working with somebody and you'd like to get in contact with a certified holistic health coach, I have a team of them waiting to help you at 855-949-3377. If you have questions, you can email them into questions@dailywithdoc.com, and we will reply with recommendations that are based on the teachings of Dr. Joel Wallach, not just the teachings, but recommendations from Dr. Joel Wallach. And if you'd like more information about our business opportunity, and you're not working with somebody, info@dailywithdoc.com. That's info@dailywithdoc.com, or simply give us a call, 800-949-3377. Thank you again, and have a fabulous day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow on Daily with Doc. Bye for now. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have the founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.
Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health. Dr.